Find the six trig functions if the central angle is pi over 4 radians. Okay, so a couple things going on here, right? Well, we want to find the six trig functions, right? What does that mean? It means we want to find the sine, cosine, and tangent, and the secant, cosecant, and cotangent of this angle, whatever it is. Okay, notice we don't have the actual coordinate, right? We don't know what that xy value was. Okay, if it is, it'll make the problem a lot easier. So that's the thing. We just have to determine what this coordinate is, right? Where is this point located? And it gives us one little bit of information, right? We know that the central angle is pi over 4 radians, right? Which is also 45 degrees. So now, once again, we don't need to draw it out, but it helps. In this case, I'll draw just a circle. Okay, we know that this coordinate should be 1, right? So 1 up there, here, here, and here. We also know that the central angle is pi over 4 radians, which means that in standard position, right, we have the initial side. So this terminal side here, right, this angle t is going to be pi over 4. Okay, now pi over 4 actually turns out to be pretty special because if this is indeed pi over 4, okay, then we know what this coordinate is actually. It's going to be rad 2 over 2, comma, rad 2 over 2. Okay, remember, pi over 4 is one of these special angles. Okay, so pi over 3, pi over 4, and pi over 6 are the 3 special angles here that gives us these values. Okay, so there we go. We know the coordinate now, right? We know the x value and the y value. Well, we know that the cosine of t is just equal to the x value, so we get rad 2 over 2. We know that the sine of t is equal to the y value, which is also rad 2 over 2. Tangent of t is equal to y over x. Okay? Now, in this case, y and x are the same, right? So whenever we're dividing two values that are the same, we always get 1. Notice that because we are in quadrant 1, the x and y values are both positive. Okay, so you always want to keep track of that, right? Those are always the 3 things you want to remember. What are my x values, what are my y values, and what quadrant am I in? Because that will determine your signs. Okay, now, the reciprocal of cosine is secant. Okay, so secant is just the reciprocal of this guy. Now, let's do this work on the side here, right? So what is the reciprocal of rad 2 over 2? We just flip this fraction over, we get 2 over rad 2. Now, we never leave radicals in the denominator, so let's go ahead and rationalize. So we get 2 rad 2 over 2. These just cancel out, so we just end up with radical 2, right? So that's our final answer here. Secant is rad 2 over 2. Similarly, cosecant would also equal rad 2. Cotangent, of course, the reciprocal of 1 is just 1. Now, we do want to point out one thing here, right? In this case, t represents the value of this angle, right? Now, but we actually know what this angle is, right? We know that it's pi over 4 radians or 45 degrees. So in your calculators, right? In your calculators, now make sure you're in the correct mode, okay? If you're in degree mode and you actually hit cosine of 45, right? Now in degrees, okay? You should actually get this numeric result here, okay? What do I mean by that? What do I mean by this numeric result? Okay, so actually if you type in rad 2 over 2, right? If you type in rad 2 over 2, we actually get, now, as a decimal, right? 0.707 and some change after that, right? So rad 2 over 2 as a decimal number is actually 0.707. So the cosine of 45 degrees is 0.707. That is the actual number you would get. If you hit tangent of 45 and you hit enter, what's your calculator going to tell you? It's going to tell you 1, okay? So you really got to understand what we're doing here. We are finding these values, right? These xy values. What cosine, sine, and tangent actually represent. Okay? So it all depends on where you are on the unit circle, if the r is actually equal to 1 or not. Okay? And these are just ratios that we're finding.